You ever wonder if getting rich is just about talent or luck or maybe a trust fund? Well, what if I told you it's actually a game? A game with a clear set of rules that, if you follow them, you win. Today, we're breaking down that exact system, a proven way to build wealth that anyone, and I mean anyone, can start using, like, right now. And this right here, this is the core idea that changes everything. See, earning a salary, that's about survival. It keeps the lights on, it puts food on the table. But real wealth, the kind that gives you true freedom, that comes from ownership. It comes from owning assets that are out there working for you, making money for you, even when you're sleeping. That's the huge shift we're diving into. So here's our game plan, broken down into 5 simple rules. First, we're going to figure out your freedom number, the finish line. Then we'll talk about the 1-2 punch of skill, then ownership. After that, we get into the secret weapon, leverage, not labor. Then we'll cover how to build your distribution so people actually find you. And we'll wrap it all up with the glue that holds it together, the mindset. Okay, let's jump in. Section 1, your freedom number. Look, you can't hit a target you can't see, right? It's impossible. So before we do anything else, you need a number, an exact dollar amount that means you are free. So how do you find this magic number? We use a super simple but really powerful tool called the 4% rule. It's basically a financial rule of thumb that helps you figure out exactly how much money you need to have invested so you can live off the earnings, well, forever, without ever having to work again. It's the finish line. And this is where a huge, vague goal becomes totally real. Let's say you want to live on 100 grand a year. Cool. You just take that number, divide it by 0.04, and bam, your number is $2.5 million. All of a sudden, get rich isn't a daydream anymore. It's a destination on a map. You know exactly where you're going. All right, so you've got your number. Now, how in the world do you get there? Well, that brings us to section 2, skill, then ownership. Think of this as a 2-step dance. First, you get really good at something to make a lot of cash, then you use that cash to buy your freedom. So that cash has to come from somewhere. It starts with mastering one of these 4 high-income skills. Are you someone who can make things, build websites, create videos, tangible solutions? Or can you market? Are you great at grabbing attention and pointing it somewhere? Maybe you can monetize. You're natural at sales and closing deals. Or can you manage? You're the person who can juggle people and projects to get things done. You don't need to be good at all of them. You just need to become world-class at one. So here's the entire playbook in 3 simple steps. 1, you master that skill. 2, you use that skill to stack up piles of cash, way more than a normal job. But step 3 is the one that really matters, the one most people miss. You take that cash and you immediately put it to work by investing it into assets. So, what assets are we talking about? Well, number 1, the most important asset you'll ever have is you. Always invest in getting better. The return is infinite. Number 2 is your own business. And number 3, for pretty much everyone, is a simple, low-fee index fund, like the S&P 500. It's basically like buying a tiny slice of the biggest and best companies out there. Okay, so you're investing. Now it's time to pour some gasoline on the fire. This is where we talk about leverage, not labor. This is the secret to finally breaking free from that old trap of trading your time for money. You have got to understand this difference because it is everything. Labor adds. You work 1 hour, you get paid for 1 hour. Leverage multiplies. You build a system that works for you 24/7. Labor is always limited by time. There are only so many hours in a day. But leverage can scale almost infinitely. And the best part is, today, there are 4 types of leverage that are available to pretty much anyone. You've got code and AI, software that can work for you forever. You've got content. Hey, this right here is a piece of content. It can teach thousands of people with just 1 effort. You've got capital, which is just using money to make more money. And you've got collaboration, teaming up with others to do something huge. Okay, on to section 4, build your distribution. Think about it. You can have the greatest skill in the world, the most amazing product, but if you're the world's best kept secret, it's useless. You have to build a system for people to find you. I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. Trying to go viral is like buying a lottery ticket. It's just luck. But building distribution, building an audience that knows, likes, and trusts you, that's a system. That's something you can build on purpose, brick by brick. And here's the playbook for how to do it. It's a simple 4-step plan. Step 1, pick one channel.
Don't try to be everywhere. Just dominate one platform. Step 2, post daily. Consistency is king. It builds trust. Step 3, and this is critical, build your list. You gotta move people from social media, which you're just renting, onto an email or text list that you own. And finally, step 4, integrate your offer. Just weave your products or services right into the helpful content you're already making. And that brings us to our final rule. And honestly, this might be the most important piece of the entire puzzle. Wealth is a mindset. You can get everything else right, but if your head isn't on straight about money, you will lose it all. I guarantee it. So Dan Martell, the guy who came up with this framework, tells this crazy, painful story from his 20s. He started making a ton of money and he dropped 16 grand on this epic snowboarding trip, put it on credit. He gets back, feels like a rock star, and then realizes he can't even afford to pay his tax bill. He learned a brutal lesson. Don't finance a lifestyle you haven't earned. Don't finance your flex. It really all boils down to this simple distinction. There's good debt, which is leverage. That's when you borrow money to buy assets that are going to make you more money, like a rental property. And then there's bad debt. That's for lifestyle. That's for depreciating toys, fancy cars, vacations on credit. One makes you rich, the other makes you a slave. And, this kind of reframes the whole point of this journey. The goal isn't just to pile up money like Scrooge McDuck. Money isn't the prize. Money is a tool. And its highest, best use is to buy back your most valuable, totally non-renewable resource, your time. Because at the end of the day, true wealth, it isn't a number in your bank account. It's what your calendar looks like. It's looking at next week and seeing a whole lot of empty space. The freedom, the autonomy to spend your days how you want, with who you want, doing what you love. That is being rich. So in the end, the money is just a byproduct. It's just the score of the game. The real reward for following these rules isn't the stuff you can buy. It's the person you have to become to get there. Disciplined, skilled, resilient. That's the real prize. And those are things no one can ever take away from you. So the only question left is, who will you choose to become?